All right. Hello, everybody. Hope everyone is doing well. We are going to go ahead and get started now. So if you just joined us, make sure you look into the chat and find the Peer Deck link. So today we're basically going to be going over the exercise problems from 3.5 in Code HS. If you remember last class, we did kind of set up uh, the flowchart for one of the homework assignments. So basically, we kind of set it up as we would outline an essay. We set up a flowchart to basically kind of set up the logic of the solution for that homework assignment. So here is what that flowchart looked like. I think originally I said that this was 3.5.6. This is actually 3.5.7 because this solution uses a compound Boolean statement to solve this problem. So remember that this is kind of the scenario. We wanted to build an application that would determine if a user can ride a roller coaster. And to make that decision, we need to have two pieces of information, the user's height and the user's age. And then from the homework assignment, we were told that the user has to be at least 42 inches tall and that they also have to be at least 9 years old. And so we came up with this compound Boolean expression that basically represented that fact. And so as long as that was true, we would print out to the screen, welcome aboard. And if it was false, then we would actually print out, sorry, you're not eligible to ride. So what we're going to do today is we're going to try out something new. We're going to convert it to Java code, but we're going to try to do this collaboratively in the same workspace. And so I'm going to be calling on some of you to basically help me code this solution. So on the Pear Deck slide on your screen right now, you will see a link that says, let's solve this together, kind of like on a pink box. When you click on that, it will lead you to a shared space on Code HS. And I think it'll have you log in if you're not logged in. And once you do that, I should be able to see you. Like I see Romnell and I see Joaquin already in here. So I'm going to give you all just a moment to go ahead and click on that link. I will go ahead and share it in the chat as well. So I'll give you all a chance to go ahead and join that session. And we're going to try to solve this problem collaboratively, kind of like a different take on pair programming. Obviously, we're larger than a pair, but we're going to try this out and see how it goes. So I see a few more people have joined us. I see Sky, Gixon, and Daryl. Cool. And let me know if you have any trouble joining. All right. So we'll wait for more people to join, but let's kind of go over what the specifications of the assignment were, because I kind of copied them as comments here. So you'll see that they've already imported the scanner class for you up here, and they've created the scanner object on line 7 as well. So the first step we want to do is we actually want to prompt the user to see how tall and how old they are. So we're going to break this up into two parts. First, let's ask them how tall they are. We'll store that information into a variable. And then we will also ask how old they are, and they will go ahead and store that into a variable as well. So let's see here. We need a print statement here on line 10. Romnell, can you go ahead and do that print statement for us that will prompt the user for how tall they are? I see Brianna has joined us as well. Romnel, are you able to edit the code on your end? I see Gixon. Gixon, can you click on line 10 for me and let me see if yeah, awesome. Gixon, since you're there, let's go ahead and have you do that. Yes, do that print statement. Awesome, thank you. Yeah, you almost got it. So system.out.println. Yep. There you go. Awesome. I see Joaquin. Joaquin, do you want to go ahead and on line 13, do you want to go ahead and store? Yeah, put it on line. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and just move the comment right above that for you, Joaquin, right after you make that change. Awesome. Yeah, you need to call it on the scanner object called input. Thank you, Gixon, for that print statement. So that's the prompt on line 10. And then Joaquin, thank you so much. You added the line that will store the user's input to that integer called height. I just moved that comment right above it. All right, so next thing we have to do is do another print statement to prompt the user for how old they are. Do I have a volunteer for that? Geraldine, awesome, go for it. So first you have to prompt, Geraldine, prompt first. You want to do a print statement first, awesome, yeah. And then can I get a volunteer to store that into a variable on line 17? Thank you, Francis. And Sky, I saw you clicking around. I think once they're done, I'm going to have you do this next part. So get ready. Awesome. Okay, so we got the prompt for asking the user how old they are. And then Francis went ahead and added line 17, which is going to grab that from user input and store it into the variable called age. Awesome. Okay, so now let's break this down, this whole big old chunk. We want to use a Boolean statement to determine if the user can ride the roller coaster. The scenario in which that is true is if both of these things are true. The height is greater than or equal to at least 42, so greater than or equal to 42, and they have to be 9 years old or older. I'm going to go ahead and separate this out. And then Sky, you can go ahead and get started on the Boolean, the compound Boolean expression in that if. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. So using that variable height that was declared on line 12, checking to see if it's greater than or equal to 42, and then also checking to see if the age is greater than or equal to 9. Awesome. Okay, so if that's true, we're gonna print out this message right here. Welcome aboard. Let's see, Brianna, can you go ahead and add that statement inside of the if, inside of the curly braces there? If you're able to. I think I saw you on here. Yeah, Brianna's on here. She might have, oh, there she is. There you go. Awesome. Thank you, Brianna. I just remembered you said that you were on your phone last time because you didn't have your laptop. So hopefully you have your laptop now and this isn't a struggle. Yeah, so you could just print welcome aboard. Awesome. Okay, thank you, Brianna. Now we also need to cover the case where this is not true, that this is false. So what would we need to add here on line 28 to catch the case that it is false? If you think you know what to do, go ahead and go for it on line 28. What do you think needs to come in order to catch that false case? All right, Sky. Yeah, she recognize that we need an else to catch that false. And then, yeah, so if it's false, we're going to go ahead and print out, sorry, you were not eligible to ride. So I'm going to go ahead and just add that real quick. So we're going to do a print statement, and I'm just going to paste that in there because I'm lazy. All right, cool. Now, I tested this out with first period. If I run this, you're not going to be able to see it. So on your own screen, you're going to click run on the right hand side. Let's make sure that there's no errors or anything. There is an error. What do we got? We reached the end of the file on line 36. And that is because I removed one of the curly braces. I'm going to go ahead and add that back in. When I deleted the code from first period, I accidentally deleted the closing curly brace for the main method, so that's my fault. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run that again. And it should say, how tall are you? Let's go ahead and put in, 60, a number that it would be true for the height being greater than or equal to 42. But then for the age, let's say it's a really tall 8-year-old. So the second side for age is greater than or equal to 9 is false, so not eligible to ride. I'm going to go ahead and test a case that would be true. So 60 for tall, how tall, and then I'll put 18 for age, and it should say welcome aboard. All right, so our code works. If you want to go ahead and come back to the shared screen now, where I am displaying my screen, we're going to do one more like this together, but I just want to really quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the actual assignment, and then we'll go ahead and check if indeed we pass all of the tests. So I forgot to change the link, but it should be 3.5.7. Yeah, so I'm going to click on that one. Oh, I already pasted it in here from last time, but I'll go ahead and paste our code. You can do the same thing. You can go ahead and use that same code we worked on together, paste it into 3.5.7. I'm going to go ahead and run the code. I just realized there's no, oh, because I think I submitted it, that's why. There should be a test area here to pass all the tests, and it does pass all the tests. I'll go ahead and verify that it works for some values here. 8 is not greater than or equal to 9, so it's false. We're not eligible to ride. If I do 60 and 18, welcome aboard. Awesome, so that's expected. If I click submit, then that works. Awesome. I noticed that some of you already submitted the homework. That's awesome. I just wanted to kind of clarify that I'm only requiring you to complete 3.5.7 and 3.5.8 for this week's homework. But if you are planning to take the AP exam, I highly recommend doing all of the exercises just for the extra practice, okay? So don't worry about this first one where it's asking for a nested if. Although if you go ahead and paste this code in here, it actually does pass all the tests because it works just as well. It doesn't actually check if you use a nested if, so that's totally fine. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the pear deck, and we are going to set up 3.5.8 in the same way. First, we're going to set up the flowchart, and then we're gonna work collaboratively in that space to code this solution. So for this one, this is called divisibility. And our objective is to create a program that reads 2 numbers from the user, the dividend and the divisor. And if you don't remember what those terms mean, you can think of it as when you're looking at a fraction, you can think of a dividend as the numerator and the divisor as the denominator. And so this would be the dividend and this would be the divisor. All right, so What are we going to do with that information? We want to check to see if the dividend is evenly divisible by the divisor. So we're checking to see if the first number is evenly divisible by the second number. So for example, if the user puts in 10 and 5, 10 divided by 5 is evenly divisible, right? There's no remainder. So we would want to print out 10 is divisible by 5, okay? And then for another example, what if the user put in 10 for the dividend and 8 for the divisor? We know that if we try to divide 10 by 8, we're going to wind up with something left, right? We're going to wind up with a whole number, but then also a fractional component. So we're going to have a remainder. So in this case, we would print that it's not divisible. It's not evenly divisible by 8, okay? So essentially, what we want to do is we want to write a Boolean expression that checks if the first number, the dividend, is evenly divisible by the second number, the divisor. And so here's our hint. If you remember, you can use modulus division to check to see if one number divided by the other has a remainder. Modulus is this percentage. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to check to see if that remainder is equal to 0. And if it's equal to 0, we know that the dividend is evenly divisible by the divisor. If it's not equal to 0, if it's anything else, we know it's not evenly divisible. So that's a lot of jargon. Let's see if you can kind of piece that together into a Boolean expression here. So at this point, you can go to your paired X slide and you can go ahead and try to craft that Boolean expression that's going to check to see if the first number is evenly divisible by the second number. So I'll give you a moment to work on that and then we'll see what you came up with. Okay, so I see some of you are still working. That's totally okay if you didn't finish or maybe you got stuck because it has been a while since we've looked at modulus division. But I'm going to go ahead and show one student's answer that definitely works. So let's go ahead and come back to the shared screen so you can see my screen. Here is one student's answer. And so basically what they are saying is I want to check to see if dividend mod divisor is 0. So that's checking to see if that first number divided by the second number has no remainder. That's the same, it's basically the same thing as saying dividend mod divisor is 0. Okay, so this is checking for a 0 remainder. Now there's going to be a bug that's introduced if we just leave it like this. So that bug is in the case that the user is going to enter 0 as the divisor. So if the user, let's say it doesn't matter what the dividend is, let's say 5, and then the user enters a 0 as the divisor. If we come down here, let's say that this isn't here yet, we're going to try to essentially divide by 0, right? Because modulus is still division. If we try to divide by 0, that's undefined, and it's going to crash the program. So we want to catch the case where the divisor is 0, okay? So we basically want to check to see, we want to ensure that the divisor is not 0. So how can I modify the Boolean expression that we have here and make it into a compound Boolean expression that checks to see if the divisor is not 0? Go ahead and try to add that in on your pair deck. I just saw Gixon put it in the chat. All right, so yeah, Gixon's completely correct. So I'm going to go ahead and share that on the pair deck if you want to come back to the shared screen. So yes, we want to add divisor not equal to 0 on the left-hand side. And the reason we want to put it on the left-hand side is, again, if we have 0 as that divisor, what's going to happen is as we evaluate the left-hand side of this is going to check, is 0 not equal to 0? This is false, right? 0 is equal to 0. So this is going to be false, which means that we're going to short circuit. Oops, wrong one. We're going to short circuit. Remember that short circuit evaluation we learned about last time? And we're not even going to look at the right-hand side. So we are no longer in danger of doing divide by 0. Okay, so that's why we want to check that before the right-hand side here. Okay, so now we actually have, we're set up to have our Boolean expression that we want to put inside of our if conditional. So now we're ready to kind of take this flowchart and convert it to Java code and work on our solution. So on the pair deck slide, you'll have that link again to come to our collaborative space. I will go ahead and put it in the chat as well if you would join me there. There we go. And we're gonna do just like we did with the last one, we're gonna work on this one together to solve it. And I've kind of put the comments in there to kind of keep us organized as well. And if at any time you want to refer to the flowchart, it's actually here on the left. If you're on that screen, you can click on the left to the screenshot and you'll see the flowchart, just to remind yourselves of what that conditional that we came up with is. Okay, so can I get a volunteer for line number 9? You're going to prompt the user for a dividend. So right here on line 9, who wants to do a print statement? Let's see, who hasn't gone yet? Arjan, are you able to edit the file? Can you go to line 9 and do a print statement asking the user for a dividend? I don't see it on there, so maybe you're having a little difficulty. So let's see, Brianna, can you do that? Can you put the print statement asking the user for a dividend? Thank you. Thank you, Sky. You noticed that I deleted that curly brace again. Thank you. Geraldine. Awesome. Thank you. There we go. There we go. So yeah, good. All right, yeah, let's indent that. Awesome. The indentation doesn't really matter to the computer, but it matters to humans. Enter the dividend. Okay, so let's see, I saw Geraldine there, so let's go ahead and on line 11, Geraldine, go ahead and store that input into an integer named dividend. We'll go ahead and indent that for you. Dividend. Awesome. Yeah, reference the scanner object input and then next int. Yep. Awesome. Okay. I saw Geksan was able to be in here as well. So Geksan, can you go ahead and on line 13 prompt the user for a divisor? Oh, caps lock. There we go. Oh, Francis jumping in. Are you gonna do the storing the int to a divisor? Awesome, thank you. All right, cool. So we prompted the user for the divisor, thanks to Geksan. And then Francis just added in our ability to store that answer into an integer called divisor. All right. So I know Sky did the conditional last time, so let's get someone else to do the conditional this time. Who wants to jump in and do that? Our compound Boolean expression. Let's see, who's in here? Anyone can jump in at this point because you all kind of have contributed. Someone other than Sky, though, because Sky did the last one. Go on. I'll help you out if you get lost. I'll give you a hint. It starts with if. Someone wants to type if. Someone other than Sky. Brianna, let's go. Okay, if. And then you always want to open your parentheses. Awesome. Good job. And then we want to check, if the divisor is not equal to 0. We want to do that first. Awesome. And, yep. Dividend, mod divisor is equal to 0. Awesome. So we're checking to see that the divisor is not 0, and we're checking to see that we don't get a remainder when we divide the dividend by the divisor. Okay, so what are we going to print if that's true? I don't remember exactly how they wanted it, but Sky, go ahead and put something that makes sense. Okay, so you're gonna say, yeah, okay, so you're gonna print the value of the dividend and then the message that it is divisible, yeah, with spaces around there, and then by the divisor. Awesome, yeah. Cool, with an exclamation mark. All right, now if it's false, we need to catch that. And we're gonna catch that with a what? What would come after the if we want to catch the fact that that if is false? Gixon, go for it. Yep, it's got that else. Open up your curlies, and then we're gonna print out a message. All right. Yeah, we could just say dividend is not divisible by the divisor. Do we need to put the are they checking for that? We'll check. We'll check in just a bit. Let's just check the code to see if the logic is correct. Let's go ahead and, I'm gonna go ahead and run it. That's a good question, Geraldine. I'm gonna go ahead and put 10 for the dividend and then 1 for the divisor. Okay, cool, it's divisible. No, just the dividend. Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna check to see 12 should not be evenly divisible by 9. And that says not divisible. Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and copy what we had. And you can come back to my shared screen because I'm gonna go ahead and check it on the assignment and we'll see exactly like how they want that output. We might need to fix the else. We might have to print out the values like Sky did in the if. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go to, there's actually a direct link to it here in the pair deck if you wanna click on it. I'm gonna click on let's go. And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to test cases. Let's see what it says. Yeah, they want like a particular thing. Okay. So enter the dividend. They're very particular. They want a colon and a space there and a colon and a space here. So we'll go ahead and check that again, make sure that went away. Okay, so that went away. Now we want to see dividend is not divisible by, okay, so let's go ahead and see what it, oops. Okay, so yeah, we kind of want to do what Sky did, right? So we can go ahead and copy what she put and just add a not in there, is not divisible by. And let's go ahead and run the test cases there. And it works. Yeah. And we can even do individual runs if we want to verify that for ourselves, like I was doing before. 10 divided by 2 should work. 10 divided by 3 should not. Awesome. So yeah, we did that together. So I hope that was a little bit more fun. CodeHS just introduced this ability to collaborate on the same piece of code. So I think that's really cool and we'll start doing that in the future. Let me know if you think it would be interesting to go out into breakout groups and try to do this in pairs, or if you would like to just do this whole class. I think we're a small enough class where it still works. So you want to do that more. What do you think? Do you want to do it? You want to do it as whole class? Whole class. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. We're a small enough class where I think it works. That way also I don't have to worry about going to individual breakout rooms if y'all need help. It gets a little hectic for me on that side. All right, yeah, we'll definitely do that. I guess I should stop the recording.